Welcome to Paranormal Things. I'm your host Keith from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we're going to do Lost Civilization Uncovered by Josh Gates and Expedition Unknown. And without further ado, here we are.
This is what's known as a tumulus.
A tumulus?
It's a tomb cut into the summit of a hill.
Literally cut into the top of the hill.
That's right.
A burial ground
so you have to imagine this being kind of the main tomb area of a whole family. And there are tombs carved in all along the outside of this tumulus. And then there's one, the biggest, the principal tomb, which would have been maybe for the founder of a dynasty or definitely the leader of that family group.
Wow. Can we see it?
Yeah, let's go.
You look at this place.
That's wild.
Where's it at? Look. It's cut out of the hill.
A big passageway leading into the main tomb, but you can see here how it's carved into the summit of the hillside, and then blocks are used to build up the top and make an even more impressive entryway.
This is definitely like the big boss's tomb.
The big boss in the middle of the 7th century BC was buried right here.
And what's going on inside?
Let's go see.
Big boss.
The painted chambers we saw back in Tarquinia aren't the only type of Etruscan tomb. Here, we see them carving what life may have been like in 3 dimensions. Now this is legit. Look at this carved columns. This is like very regal. Back in the day, these huge family tombs, they must have looked so impressive.
I think they would have been magnificent, crowning the hilltops of the necropolis on all the hills surrounding the city of the living.
Absolutely
Greece.
Unbelievable.
The Acropolis.
One such hilltop still exists. A nearby Etruscan necropolis called Cerveteri has stone made to look like wood beams, benches, long hallways, and detailed reliefs. There's even a carving of a book on a night table, evidence that the Etruscans once had literature. But those tombs, like the ones I saw at Tarquinia, and even the sewer here, had been largely raided. When this tomb was discovered, it had been looted?
It had been looted. We have some objects and some sculptures from inside. For instance, there were 2 griffins guarding the entrance. This gives you an idea of how important the individual was.
This really is a tomb fit for a king.
Very high status.
Yeah. David is determined to find undisturbed burials here at this site, which may contain inscriptions that could unlock Etruscan language, as well as priceless grave goods to explain their culture and origins. But as it turns out, even some of the tombs that have been broken into aren't totally empty.
Right under our feet is an old funerary path that leads along the side of a row of tombs. There's one here. There's another one here.
Oh, wow, look at this. I mean, I would never have seen this, just totally filled up and overgrown.
This is a good example of what the tombs look like when we first encountered them.
So why isn't this fully covered?
Because at some point in the past, somebody broke into this tomb by removing the top block of the doorway.
So it's been looted. Has it been excavated?
It has not been excavated, but typically the looters leave a wealth of information inside the tomb for us to document.
Okay.
Do you want to go in?
No.
There's science in there.
No, there's spiders in there.
Spiders and science.
Yeah, but a lot of spiders.
Let's go.
You're going first, though.
All right.
Spiders or not, we're going in. All right, here we go. This is horrible. Okay. Whew. I'm in.
Spiders and all. You wouldn't catch me in it.
In here, actually. Okay, so we've got 2 beds here with these kind of lower bunks carved out here.
That's right. There's room for 2 on each side here to be laid out.
An ancient
has its own particularities.
ruin.
All right, well, let's have a look around, yeah?
The Etruscans.
Oh, wow, Josh, look over here.
What do you have?
There's just bone everywhere here. It's littered all over this bed.
5,000 years old, I would
All these
assume.
little white flakes
Big
that we
one.
see here, this big piece, that's all human bone?
That's right.
These remains weren't deliberately damaged. Chances are the ancient brittle bones shattered as the tomb was being looted. What is that? That dark thing?
This is a piece of bronze.
Wow, look at that. What do you think this is from?
I think it would have been a decorative element. Perhaps.
Like something they were wearing?
Yeah, probably a breastplate, maybe
someone
part of a belt.
ripped off
These
the
people have been laid
grave.
out here wearing
just like they do here. They push the stones down.
Right. Look at that. That's a tooth, a molar.
Oh my word. That is a tooth. That is a human tooth.
That is an Etruscan tooth right there.
Not just a trace of their pottery now, not just a trace of their architecture, but actually the remains of an individual.
That's right. And this is important data. We can do a series of analyses on bones like this that'll tell us about the life and the diet, the health, the migrations, and the origins of the Etruscans.
This is a big question, their origins, right?
Right.
Because they do seem to us to be this culture that just kind of comes out of nowhere, and people have been debating their origins since ancient times, right?
That's right.
From their writings, the Romans and Greeks looked at the Etruscans as an exotic culture that could not have been from the Italian peninsula. The Roman writer Livy speculated they were from Turkey, home of the mighty Trojans. Others thought they were originally from Greece. But because the Etruscan language hasn't survived, they've never been able to speak for themselves.
Recently, there's been an increasing number of genetic studies, both using modern populations and ancient populations.
Okay.
And those studies may show us where the Etruscans were really from.
Recently, scientists gathered genetic information from the ancient remains of 82 Etruscans to compare the DNA against other ancient and modern peoples. Okay, so
they put them through.
Where are they really from?
Here.
Stringent.
On the Italian peninsula.
In the middle of Italy.
So they're not from somewhere else at all.
It doesn't seem that way.
So they're just part of this landscape. Literally, they're from here.
They're Italians.
They're Italians. They're from here.
They're
Identifying the origins of the Etruscans is a major win.
Too?
But even with these human remains, we're left with more questions than answers. Right here in front of us, we have, in many pieces, an Etruscan, an individual, a person.
Right. I don't think the story is fully told.
In order to fully know who the Etruscans were
and
why they
side
fell
of a
to
hill,
Rome, archaeologists need unlooted tombs. But every burial David's team has found to date has been robbed, and the tombs are hard to locate since they're overgrown, buried, or hidden along steep cliffs. In other words, we need some high-tech help.
Josh, this is Forrest and Natalie from LiDAR USA.
I'm very familiar with LiDAR USA. I've worked with your company before.
Yes, you have. You worked with our dad, Jeff, in Roanoke.
That's right.
And my brother, Daniel, in Guatemala.
Yes, at El Mirador. Oh, I think I made your brother throw up in a helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes science is puking. He's okay now?
He's fine.
He's fine. He's recovered. Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry. And here we are again.
Yes.
So,
they are again.
Talk to me. What's the plan here?
I'm excited about this because this is, as you've seen, a very hard site, very challenging to actually see what's on the surface.
A lot of hills, a lot of vegetation.
That's right. The LiDAR will get us through those trees.
Right. The plan is for the LiDAR to peer down and image any additional cavities around the site, targets for potentially unlooted tombs. And what kind of area are we going to be scanning here today?
So we're looking at somewhere around 250 acres.
250 acres is a lot, and that will take this drone how long?
About 15 minutes.
15 minutes. And in that 15 minutes or so, how many data points will this collect?
Millions.
Millions. It doesn't make any sense. Are you ready to fly for us?
That's why I put
let's do it.
Josh Gates in our repertoire.
The drone hovers in the air, scanning along a pre-programmed route that will cover the same territory it would take years to explore on foot. The really mysterious thing about the Etruscans is that the more you learn
countryside,
about them, the more you understand that they were this really robust civilization, right? They were politically smart, they were trading far and wide, they were innovative, and yet it seems today like they've just vanished off the face of the earth.
I mean, if I were to bet, let's say around 500
unless
BC,
they intermingled with the Romans.
The most successful culture in Italy, it would be the Etruscans, definitely not the Romans.
Why is it, do you think, in the end, that the
Definitely
Etruscans
not the
couldn't stand
Romans.
up to Rome?
I think the city-state division may have worked against them. Their rivalries between the nobilities may actually, in the end, have weakened them when they were faced with a power as strong as Rome.
Right, and they were a divided group. They were these independent city-states.
A League of 12, but not always supporting each other militarily when it came down to it.
Right. It's an age-old lesson. United we stand, divided we fall. By the time Rome grew into a threat, the Etruscans weren't cohesive enough to withstand them. While David and I ponder the past, the drone finishes its program and gently
can
touches down.
just imagine what this caught. He said it would take
Nice
years.
flying, by the way. Thank you. You excited?
Oh man, let's get this data.
Once the data is extracted from the drone, it's time to process it through the computer to see if this forest has been hiding some intact
Laptop.
Etruscan tombs for over 3,000 years. Oh, look at that!
It's the whole plateau with the surrounding hillsides.
That is so cool. No unlooted Etruscan tombs have been found at this site. Locating one could mean finding historic artifacts or inscriptions that could help decipher their lost language.
Unbelievable discovery. You'll see it. You'll see this on YouTube. Until we meet again, sleep tight.